Welcome everybody to another episode of Love and Reality Podcast. I am your host Ricky Valera. On today's episode, we are going to be breaking down episode 1 of Jenn Tran's season of The Bachelorette. Folks, yes, this is not the normal studio. I am currently recording in Minnesota. I'm here for some work, but I could not miss the opportunity to talk about the debut of Jenn and her men of The Bachelorette. Before we dive in, thank you guys so much for the continued support of the Love and Reality podcast. Because of you, I'm doing podcasts like this in my hotel room. I'm excited to chat about this. This is my first time talking about The Bachelorette on a podcast of any sort. It's been a long time since I watched it, but let's go ahead and dive right in. You know what I mean? This is what we see. This is where it starts. It starts with the men trying to get out of the limo, come in, and make a first impression. And let's talk about some of these first impressions. This was insane. Was this America's Got Talent or was this The Bachelorette? Because it's an honest question. Because as we're watching, we see some of these goofballs say some of the most craziest things ever. Obviously, we have Marcus. He came in there, Army Ranger, 6 deployments. I like the guy. 5 years since he's dated. He's looking for his next mission, as he said. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. Marvin speaks to her in another language. One of the only people didn't get a fancy little package after him. Sam. All right. Sam H, I think it was. Sam H. I don't want to. Yeah. Sam M. Sorry. Nope. Sam H. Sam, one of the Sams. Well, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. He walks up and goes, I just want to let you know that I'm a virgin. And she took it like, okay, cool. Like, that's cool. Like, that's all right. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm a virgin of love. Come on, man. Get this guy off my screen already. Like, a virgin of love. Like, he thought he was funny. Like, he thought this was hilarious. And you know what makes me mad is Jen, I think he even chuckled a little bit. If you chuckled, I'm mad at you as well, right? All right. And then of course we got Sam, the other Sam. He's a Southern boy, comes up and says, imagine us 50 years from now. I think like I don't remember how old Jen is, but like 50, they were 75 or 80. Like 75 or 80. Like what do we two Sams, both are terrible. Thomas made her a gift, which I thought was cute. Little bracelet, last name on it. Oh, win-win, as he said. That was pretty funny. Um, all right, let's talk about Brendan for a minute. Again, this is where I'm asking you guys a question. Were we watching America's Got Talent or are we watching The Bachelorette? Because this guy steps out of the car, takes a bite of a habanero pepper, throws it on the ground, and then walks up to her and takes another bite of a habanero pepper and throws that one on the ground. I just genuinely am not like sure what the plan was here by some of these guys, but it was awful. We got Kevin in full ski gear. The ginger brought ginger shots. Thomas brought a puppy, which was cute. I mean, you always win the girl over with a puppy, right? And then we had one dude show up in a stretcher, which was something. Aaron showed up on a motorcycle. Apparently, his brother was on the show and found love on Bachelor in Paradise. He got married and divorced young, which I kind of like seeing stuff like that on the show. Jeremy said something about him having a big dick. Um, some dude brought a chess piece of a queen, called her a queen, just like the chess piece. Like, some of these guys, look, okay, I'm convinced that they've never talked to a girl before in their life. Because I understand that you're trying to bring a different approach. You want to be unique, you have to stand out, okay? But there's so many different things you could have done to stand out here that did not involve some of the dumb things that we watched unfold. However, Hakeem brought like a million balloons, which was very, very cute. I loved Hakeem. I love what he brought here. The energy was infectious, and the post balloon thing where he's trying to fit in everywhere he want was popping balloons everywhere. That to me was great. Um, Sam, Sam M was our first the Southern Boy was the first to swoop in to kind of get that one-on-one with Jen. He had his hand on that thigh for a minute. He was trying to get a little smooch, but she said she's gonna give a kiss when she's ready to give the kiss. And I like that. I like that. Spencer's turn. He kind of got up there. He says, you know, he could see himself 100% marrying her, which the goal of this show is to get married. Like I'm here and I want to get married. But to say you could see yourself marrying her after like 13 minutes, I'm questioning your entire existence, buddy. All right. They play a little, truth or dare situation. Austin was the first person, and he had to streak through the house. My man did it. He he dropped trout and everything, just ran across the house. He even gave Jesse a high five at the door. It was, I mean, you got to give props to this guy for just going out there and doing it. You know what I mean? Do we? Okay, yeah. All right. Sorry, I had to go look at something real quick before we moved on here. All right, let's see here. John said who would he not give a rose to? He said he would pick Grant, which was hilarious. Um, let's see here. Okay, so we saw Jeremy pull up in a nice looking vehicle at the beginning. So he pulls her aside and brings her to the ride and was whining and dining her, talking about the ride, talking about he imported it from New York, getting to know her. And Ryan kind of pulled up a slick ass move and was like, hey man, like, I don't want to, this is my spot now. He's like, I want some time with Jen. And she said she appreciated the move, but later on, apparently she didn't appreciate it too much. But to me right here, I felt like Jeremy was the bigger person by getting up and leaving because what do you gain by continuously being confrontational other than showing that you're confrontational to this woman that you're trying to impress? So Ryan's, he kind of pulled a slick ass move. Devin did a pretty solid. He made her laugh. I really think that Devin got on the right foot. I mean, obviously you gotta make her laugh. You know what I mean? You gotta make her laugh, and I think that's one plus side to make sure that you continuously stay on this show, right? The guys are lurking around, wondering if anybody has kissed her yet. Nobody has yet. Grant plays a little basketball with her. He said he's trying to get him a little kiss. Now, this is where she says she was thinking about kissing him and then got interrupted. And I was like, they were like staring at each other, like this was about to happen. And then, somebody came up and interrupted the conversation. So that was definitely interesting. Marcus came in hot and heavy. I like Marcus. I think I am team Marcus. I think Marcus is one of my favorite on the show so far. Very much pro Marcus. I don't like Aaron at all, which I'm starting to notice a trend here, especially when we start giving out roses. But Jen did have the line of the century, which I am sure is going to be on plenty of bumper stickers and T-shirts. She's like, I'm not in the business of potty training men anymore. And it was the line of the century because it was just like, if you take anything away from that episode, it's that one liner. You know what I mean? Like that was a banger. You know what I mean? Like right off the rip. Mad props to Jen for coming out with that one. Um, Sam M got the first impression rose, which Jen, we got to talk, girl. Like, big fan. All right, really enjoying our first episode of the season together. Really diving back into the Bachelorette like I haven't before done in a long, long time. But we got to talk about this. This taste in men is not. It's not really like souping up here. You know what I mean? Like they go on to have a heavy makeout sesh. You know what I mean? Like a heavy heavy makeout session. All right. But, all right. We go down the order of who got a rose and who didn't get a rose. And I don't have the list in front of me of who didn't, but we're going to talk about who did. We got Dylan, Thomas M, Spencer, Grant, Marcus, Thomas A, John M, Jeremy, Devin, Brian, Aaron, Johan, Hakeem, Jonathan, Austin, Marvin M, Sam M, I can't believe he got the fucking rose. I'm still pissed about this. You know what? You want to make out, you want to do all that. You want to do the make out. I just, man, I'm just kind of disappointed. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of disappointed here. I'm really just disappointed, but it's all right. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give Jen the opportunity to see this Sam character for who he really is in the future. You know what I mean? I can't fault her for mistakes on day one. We'll talk about that later. However, listen to this. She announces that the game's going to be changed, that they are going to not stay there, but they're all going to Australia. Now let me hit this to you real quick. Imagine being on the show, you get selected, but you don't get a rose. Knowing that you were going to Australia, that's tough, man. Like you got booted right before you went to Australia. That's tough. You know what I mean? That's tough. That is very, very tough. I feel kind of bad. You know what I mean? Like if I would have known I'd have been going to Australia, maybe I go a little bit harder. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I have harder conversations with somebody. You know, Jen, hey, come here. Come here. Obviously, they're not going to tell them that because then they really are going to go harder because we're going to Australia. But you know what I'm saying. But that being said, first episode back of The Bachelorette. I found myself really enjoying this episode. It was hit and miss because you have a lot of these guys that are really just trying to get that first impression. It's definitely my first foray back into the world of The Bachelor. I liked it. I liked what I saw outside of like the America's Got Talent aspect of the things. I'll be ready for the dates. I'll be ready for them to see some actual genuine conversations and stuff like that because that's obviously what we're here for. I'm not here for the dog and pony show to start the show. You know, that's just not how I am. But that being said, thank you guys so much for listening to the first episode of me covering the Bachelorette season of Jenn Tran Finding Love. That being said, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, do all those fun things. Let me know in the comments below who you thought was your favorite in the first episodes of The Bachelorette. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys next week.